Oh hey, so you just signed up for a fantasy bundle here with DGF. First and foremost, thank you so much for the support. I'm sure you might have some questions about what exactly you might have just bought. What are the tools? How do you use them? What's the best way to use them? Well, guess what? I'm about to run through a tutorial on everything you just bought, all the tools, how to use them, and what you need to know in order to maximize your subscription. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the tutorial. So you made your way to DGFantasy.com and you purchased one of our 3 subscription options that we currently have on our website. And now I'm going to run through and show you everything that you'll get within that subscription and how to properly utilize them. So if we scroll down a little bit, we see our fantasy bundle will get you access to our DFS optimizer, our fantasy scores page, and our middling tool. Our DFS optimizer is our flagship tool that pulls together player props and fantasy app odds, calculating your chance to hit each over or under. It uses the line maker's own probabilities against them, identifying the best odds for you. Next is our fantasy scores tool, which applies the same smart tactics to fantasy scores. And last but not least is our DFS middling tool, which makes it easy to visualize and see discrepancies across the entire market by comparing just DFS apps against one another. So if we currently scroll to the top of this page, we'll see 3 clickable options on the 3 tools that we just discussed. Let's go ahead and start off and talk about the DFS optimizer. The DFS optimizer simply compares sportsbook lines directly back to DFS apps. As you can see, we have multiple DFS apps on our optimizer. By simply comparing sportsbook lines directly back to various DFS apps, we're able to find market inefficiencies and discrepancies in our favor. Because most of these DFS apps are mostly fixed payout platforms, we're able to find various advantageous plays that we can play over on these DFS apps opposed to playing them on the sportsbooks. And that is the whole purpose of our DFS optimizer, to show you the best percent odds to hit plays on every single DFS app. We have multiple different drop-down boxes that you guys can also take advantage of. Here we see League, where you can filter by any type of sport that you want. Next, we have Team. You can again filter by any team you want. Same thing with both stat type and over-under. Now, our next drop-down box is probably the most important. Our plus EV plays drop-down box will show you the most optimal slip type on the DFS app that you're currently looking at. So we can see right here that we're on the Prizepicks optimizer, and the plus EV plays drop-down box will show us the most optimal slip types on Prizepicks. We can see that 5 pick flexes and 6 pick flexes are your 2 best slip type options over on Prizepicks. This setup is the same for all of our DFS apps. One more thing to add and to note, our DFS optimizer is consistently refreshing throughout the day. It legitimately updates every single second. This ensures you that you're not seeing stale data and you're getting the best value on any DFS app that you're looking at. Now that we've talked about the DFS optimizer, let's go ahead and jump over to our DFS middling tool. Now, our DFS optimizer compares sportsbook lines and some DFS apps directly back to DFS apps. But our DFS middling tool is different. It only compares DFS app to DFS app. Here at DGF, we've noticed that especially in esports, there are crazy amounts of discrepancies from one DFS app to another. So we decided, let's make a tool for it. Being able to compare DFS app to DFS apps can give you a very good opportunity to middle some of these props. As we see right here, from comparing Prizepicks over to Jock Market, we see a CSGO prop that currently has a 3 kill discrepancy. So in this case, the whole purpose of our DFS middling tool would be to play the over of 26.5 kills for this specific CSGO player on Prizepicks, and also turn around and take his under 29.5 kills over on Jock Market. Essentially, what we're doing is somewhat hedging our bet, but because there is such a large discrepancy between both of these DFS apps, we do have the chance for both props to be profitable on each app. If this player finishes anywhere with 27, 28, or 29 kills, we hit both props on each app. Sometimes when we do compare some of these DFS apps against one another, we're able to find some absolutely crazy discrepancies. Our middling tool has become a fan favorite here with our DGF members, so if you did just sign up for a fantasy bundle membership, I would highly advise taking advantage of this tool. If you're a little confused on what exactly middling is or what it means, I'll go ahead and put a clickable link right here to a video that Matt created where he goes over how to use the middling tool in more depth. And to be 100% honest with you guys, middling can be extremely profitable, so if you haven't seen Matt's video, I would highly suggest you watching it. Now that we've talked about the middling tool, let's go ahead and finish up and talk about the fantasy scores screen. So when it comes to MLB pitchers and hitters, yeah, there's technically no fantasy score market on regular sportsbooks, but there are player prop markets for every player prop included in most of these DFS apps when it comes to hitters and pitchers. So for example, there's sportsbook odds for player singles, player doubles, player triples, player home runs on most of these sportsbooks, and enough line data to find out what the fantasy scores would be if the books populated fantasy score projections. So what we do here at DGF is we automate that process for you to find what these fantasy scores would be if these sportsbooks actually had a fantasy score market. By doing so, we're able to find consistent misprices in the fantasy score market. Let's go ahead and take Kodai Senga for an example. He's currently listed at 28.5 over on Prizepicks. And we know the sportsbooks don't currently have a fantasy score market for pitchers. But because they have all the individual props needed to make up a fantasy score, what we do is take the near even lines from multiple sportsbooks, in this case being DraftKings and Caesars, and we're able to come up for a projection on what his fantasy score would be if these sportsbooks currently had a fantasy score market. So by taking all of those near even individual props over on Prizepicks that make up Senga's pitcher fantasy score, we're able to project that his fantasy score market or projection on DraftKings would be 31.7. And we're able to do the same thing here with Caesars, projecting that his fantasy score projection would be 31.1. When doing this, we're able to find a 2.9 difference between the sportsbook market and the projection on Prizepicks. Just like our middling tool, this tool can be a very powerful resource to help you find some value. And that will do it for the overview on everything that you get in our DGF Fantasy Bundle. If any of you out there still have any questions on anything I just covered in that tutorial video, you can go ahead and send us a direct email, support@dgfantasy.com, or you can go to dgfantasy.com and click on our live chat option and ask us any questions that you still might have. But I really hope that overview was helpful for anybody that did have any outlying questions. So until next time, I'll catch you guys later.